Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to briefing on Saturday the 26th. So, what have we got in store for us today? Well, you can see from the overnight chart, the low pressure has moved away from the North Sea and off into the near continent, and it's beginning to stretch out the sort of isobars here, and we're getting a reduction in the sort of compression. So by midday, 1 o'clock, you can see they're reasonably well spaced out over us, and the wind has dropped from what it was yesterday. It'll still be fairly fresh, and it's coming in from a northerly direction, so it's going to feel pretty cold out there. Currently about 5 or 6 degrees, wind chill around about 2. That wind chill won't really go up that much during the day. It's quite a biting wind out there, but no real sort of frontal activity near us. This little front here will start to skim the southeast of England, and we might see the cloud effects from that. Hopefully we won't see any rain. That'll be further to the east. The winds, you can see they dropped 35 knots yesterday. They're down to probably 25, maybe 30 further east at flying heights. Directions 340, 350 at flying heights. On the ground it's going to be 320, 330. So that forces us down with that strength wind onto the short run. The TAFs for both Farnborough, Gatwick and Heathrow are suggesting by 10 o'clock it's going to be somewhere around 16 knots, gusting 25, 26. And that's going to remain that way for most of the day until sort of late afternoon, early evening. You can see from the sat pic, sorry, let's just go to that one. You can see from the sat pic, here's the cloud that's slowly creeping down towards us, and that will get to us late afternoon probably. And in that, you also find that there is some rain underneath there, so it's pepping itself up over Cambridgeshire. This lot looks like it's just going to drift down to the east of us, probably come down across the Parham area. Should hopefully not get to us during the day. May see that late afternoon possibly, but I think the forecasts are that it's just going to track down over Kent and East Sussex. The temperatures today, well, it's quite a change from a week ago. Certainly, I think 12 or 13 at best today. As I said earlier, it's going to feel a lot colder than that when we're sat at the launch point. But that's sort of peak temperature today. Dew points, I think they'll be down around 2 degrees. They bottomed out at that last night. So I would think 1 to 2 degrees for the dew point. So pretty good temperature split. Playing about with those sort of temperatures and dew points on the soundings. You can see this is the 1 o'clock. If you follow the line up here, we should have cloud base somewhere around 3,500 feet above Lasham. Cloud tops about 5,000 feet, and that's by sort of 1, 2 o'clock. As the afternoon goes on, we'll start to see this all come together as that upper cloud and frontal weather starts to come towards us, and I think you're going to see more in the way of possibly spread out at times, and more general layer of cloud tucked in here, still about 4,000 feet, but it still should be soarable. Doesn't appear to be any serious upper cloud today. Nothing I can pick up on either the sat pic or any other data. So top meteo are suggesting soaring by, that's 11 o'clock. So soaring by 12 o'clock, 3,000 feet, and then slowly going up round us, 1,300 meters. But you can see the progress of the weather here and the clouds coming in. So possibly by 4 o'clock, it's all beginning to fizzle out. Not really going up in this area around us much more than 1,200–1,300 meters, but better out to the west and north. They're sort of saying 1,400 meters further west and further northwest. So cloud amounts. I think you should see cumulus by midday. I would have thought 1 o'clock. They're showing blue in here. I think it's going to be a cumulus day. I'd be surprised if it's completely blue. But you can see the progress of this more solid cloud and spread out coming down from the northeast. May not completely reach us by the end of the afternoon, but I think it will change the weather around us. So their suggested distance for today, nothing around Lasham. I think it'll be a bit better than that, but better out to the north and west. Possibly okay for the South Downs, but there's quite a lot of west in it. You normally require either dead north or northeasterly with a bit more west in it. The bowls tend to work, but some sections won't. So if you're going to venture down there, just go down there with some caution, because it won't be an easy South Downs day and a steady run. You'll have to sort of work the usable areas. Tomorrow, not promising anything. Because we're on the divide of the weather, really. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. That forecast model has changed over the last 24–36 hours, so it could change back quite easily. Okay, so in terms of airspace locally, very, very little really. I suspect it's going to be fairly busy through our area with GA traffic. Having watched the Flyer weekend weather briefing on Thursday night, they were forecasting a nice weekend and suggesting everybody goes out and makes the most of it in their powered aircraft for a trip here, there and everywhere. So keep a good lookout for GA aircraft floating past us. In terms of NOTAMs, very, very little. The only one down here is Headcorn. They've got a temporary restricted area all weekend. And that's really about it in our area here. In terms of operational setup, we're going to go on 3-4. I'll just zoom in down here a little bit. And we operate normally with the winch launch point here and the aerotow point off the edge of the perimeter track, towing out this way. That's fairly standard. If you're towing out from the eastern end of the airfield, come down here, just keep a good lookout. Try not to drive in front of any tugs and come down here and across here. We'll have a queue here of people ready to go. If you're coming down from the western end of the airfield, come down, drive down this side, and again park your glider down here on the edge of the runway. It's nice and safe there. When we're flying and operating, generally circuits are on this run to the west, left-hand circuits landing in here or up here. This area is all usable in here. Bit rough just next to ATC where the jets are parked. If you have to land this side, please land just over here. If you plank it in the middle there, in this area next to the launch point, you bring the entire operation to a grinding halt. So, as I say, land over to one side in this area up here, and you won't be a nuisance. Tugs will operate round this way come in and land across here, touching down somewhere around here, and then backtrack down the perimeter track. Okay, it is tight, it is congested, it's an awkward run, but in this strength wind, that's all we can do, and we've just got to put up with it. Okay, folks, last thing to mention, jet movement at what I think, looking at the jet on Flight Radar 24, it's currently over Versailles, just south of Paris. I think it's going to be in probably between 15:15 and 10:30. So get all the gliders ready. If the fire trucks aren't on the runway, we can tow out to 3-4, but just be aware, once the fire trucks come out and the strobe goes on, we can't go across the field. We won't tow a set of cables out until the jet has landed. Okay, folks, see you out there.